The Detroit Lions kicked the New York Giants' ass today.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions, a trash-talking Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding. On the Locked On Podcast Network, Tuesday, August 8th into Wednesday, August 9th. Little Rob Parker and Mark Wilson reset there. But hey, everybody, hope you're doing well and having a great day. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast. That includes on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We're getting closer to 7,000 subscribers. I want that lucky 7,000 subscribers. Please subscribe, watch for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. The Lions were the first team today, along with the New York Football Giants, to hold joint practices. And that was in Allen Park today. The great Andrew Siciliano from NFL Network, Brian Baldinger were in the house. Everybody was there, and we got good news. The Lions won. Now, I know it's not a game. They don't keep score. But everybody is talking about the performance that the Lions put on today against the Giants. We'll get into it coming up momentarily. Also, yes, Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater is here. Well, not here yet, but it's official. The Lions have signed the backup quarterback. He reunites with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn and Alex Anzalone and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and all these Saints people. The Lions have a new backup quarterback. I'll tell you why I like it coming up momentarily. Also, unofficial depth chart is out. The Lions, and you know their PR staff hates this with a passion, but they had to put an unofficial depth chart out. A couple of surprises. We'll get into that. And also, who is Dylan Drummond? Everybody's writing about him. Everybody's talking about the undrafted free agent from Eastern Michigan who nearly didn't even play college football, nearly hung him up after college, had one offer from the Lions to be a UDFA. And he's killing it. We'll get into that as well right here on Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks and at Locked On Lions, or is it X now? All the commenters on the YouTube channel love going over that. Where else can you follow us? On Threads at The Real Matt Derry, the Matt Derry Facebook fan page, and also on YouTube. Shout out to our everydayers that are out there. And my guy, Mike Vanderpool. Check out Heart of a Lions Fan wherever you watch movies. I believe it's on YouTube as well. Mike Vanderpool's the man. He put out this movie years ago, which I'm in it, but it's absolutely awesome. Heart of a Lions Fan. Shout out to Mikey V, the other Mikey V, Mike Vanderpool, and Heart of a Lions Fan. All right, this is exciting. No more practicing against each other. No more, guys in shells and shorts. Put the pads on today, and they welcomed in, the Lions did, down at 222 Rodwood Drive. The New York Giants. New York Giants last year were a force in the NFC East. They were real physical, made the playoffs, won a playoff game under Brian Daboll, and had a really good year. But the Lions did beat them in New York last year. And they brought their squad to town today. We're going to talk to Patricia Traina, the host of the Locked On Giants podcast, later on in the week, about some players that maybe the Giants might cut, that the Lions might cut, that would be interesting, intriguing for either team to pick up. Anyway, today the Giants came into town. Kayvon Thibodeau, Amani Oruwariye was there, the former Lion. And from all indications and reports, and from some people that I talked to today, the Lions were great. The Detroit Lions dominated today's first round of practices. Now, remember last year, the Lions went to Indianapolis and got embarrassed on the first day. On that Tuesday in Indy, Dan Campbell was pissed. The players got out physicaled, got outplayed, and the next day they came out and they threw another punch, and they did very well. But today, it was all about the Lions on day one, dominating the Giants. Couple of notes for you. Number one, I was told Aiden Hutchinson was dominant today. Had a sack. Now, again, you can't sack the quarterback. The quarterback's in red jerseys, but you can go around your tackle and get there. Aiden Hutchinson had a sack today. He was everywhere in the run game. and he looks the part of a guy that's going to take a major leap from year 1 to year 2. So that is very good news. Number 2, Lions defense came out and played hard and played well, including in a short yardage sequence where they stuffed the Giants on 4 plays at the goal line. 4th and goal, Daniel Jones tried to sneak, and the Lions stuffed it. Jones had a bad day, missed open receivers. Lions defense was all over the place. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, smack talking, trash talking everywhere. And this is the kind of day that you're looking for. When some of the Giants writers, one of the guys, Connor Hughes, covers the Giants, that retweeted, just said, look, Giants got beat up today. Lions were better defensively. Lions offense was crisp, tons of weapons for Jared Goff. And so today, the New York media, at least the ones that cover the Giants, got to come in and see what all the hype has been about, that the Lions showed up and had a really good day. And that, my friends, is a great sign. Now, again, tomorrow the tables could turn. Giants could have a better day than the Lions. But today, to kind of set the tone, to kind of get things jump-started, everything seemed to click well for the Lions today against the Giants. And that's a playoff team that's in town, right? Daniel Jones, Tiki Barber on WFAN a couple weeks ago said Daniel Jones should be an elite quarterback this year. He should make that big of a jump. Today, he didn't have it. And he was rattled by what the Lions were bringing to the table. So you love to hear it. You love to see it. We'll see about day 2 tomorrow. But day 1, throwing a party for my day ones, as Drake would say. Day 1 was all about the Lions today. So be interested in hearing what Dan Campbell has to say tomorrow morning about it. He said today, he told his guys before the practice, just do the little things, keep it simple. He was excited about this joint practice. He was fired up today. It was like shot out of a cannon when he got at his press conference this morning. And the players responded with a very good performance. So shout out to the Lions. That's huge. It's the way you want to start. It's the way you want to put things on tape. And I love hearing it. So good work today down in Allen Park for the Lions. The other guy that I didn't mention, I guess I should mention him now because we'll get into the Teddy Bridgewater discussion and the unofficial depth chart. The other guy to talk about today is Dylan Drummond. This kid from Eastern Michigan is going to be very difficult to cut and not keep somehow, some way. Dylan Drummond, the UDFA undrafted free agent rookie from Eastern Michigan, continues to burst. Some big catches today, both in traffic and running around defenders, and he continues to shine. And there were a couple of articles written about him last week. I think one by Kyle Meinke and the other by Dave Burkett. But, Dylan Drummond was a late ad. Dylan Drummond wasn't drafted. The Lions went out and got Denzel Mims. The Lions, of course, are getting Jamison Williams back. Brought back Marvin Jones. Drafted Antoine Green in the 7th round. But everybody's been talking about Drummond. No relation, by the way, to Lions legendary return man, number 18 in your program and in your hearts, Eddie Drummond. But Dylan Drummond is making a case to make this team. I don't know how he's going to make it. Obviously, Tom Kennedy's gone now, and you could keep 6 wide receivers. I'm not sure how many they're going to keep. If you cut him, there's a chance another team picks him up, and you're not going to be able to retain him on your practice squad if he makes a 53 somewhere else. But watch out, man. Dylan Drummond. And again, they got 3 preseason games to play. He's going to be out there. But Dylan Drummond is a guy. And by the way, Jamison Williams returned to practice today and was on the field. But Dylan Drummond has been turning heads. And what a cool story that would be. Kid from Eastern Michigan, undrafted, not looked at by many, except the Lions, makes the team. Long way to go, but really, really cool. So shout out to Dylan Drummond, who continues to just make plays. Make plays. That's what he's doing. All right. Coming up next, we will get into the unofficial depth chart put out by the Lions. And we got to talk about Teddy Bridgewater being here. We mentioned it yesterday on the podcast, and it became official last night. Lions have a new backup quarterback. Our partners, though, at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Football host Vinny Iyer to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So with draft prep underway for the upcoming season, let's see who Vinny has picked out for us on this week's edition of eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. We've talked quarterback. We've talked running back. Today, let's get into some wide receivers. I got a name for you. Looking for a second-year fantasy football wide receiver who can drive your team to big points while he catches on with a new starting quarterback? That's right. And it's elementary to target sleek Packer Christian Watson. He was the ultimate scoring machine with limited catches last year as a rookie. Should fit well as a young go-to guy for Jordan Love in a Packers offense in transition. Vinny Iyer from Locked On Fantasy Football is going to help you win your fantasy championship, and eBay Motors knows the championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So with eBay Guaranteed Fit and over 122 million parts and accessories for your vehicle right now at your fingertips, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Air filters, brakes, batteries, tail lights, shocks, struts, alternators, you name it, eBay Motors, they've got it. Now make sure it's the right fit for your car, because eBay Guaranteed Fit helps you understand exactly what part you need for your vehicle the first time. So go forth, switch gears, crank the AC, and say goodbye to sweating if your ride needs a little fixing up, because now you'll know you'll always be set up for success from the get-go with our friends at eBay Guaranteed Fit. Everything your vehicle is calling for is just a click away. For the parts and accessories that fit your vehicle, just look for the green check. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items apply. Exclusions apply. Again, want to give a shout out to our everydayers that are out there listening. We appreciate you. Many of you hit me up on Twitter. Sometimes I mention names. Sometimes I forget. My apologies if we do that. Got to say a hello as well to our friend from prideofdetroit.com, Ryan Matthews. I'm not sure Ryan's an everydayer, but hey, Ryan, become an everydayer here. All right. So we told you yesterday that the Lions Twitter was going crazy. There was all these rumors of some big scoop, big story, big news was coming out. And indeed, there was big news about an hour and a half after I recorded last night, and that is that Teddy Bridgewater, or as he's known around NFL circles, Teddy Two Gloves, is coming to Detroit. Veteran backup quarterback who visited a couple of weeks ago will be in town next week. Dan Campbell says he'll likely get into some game action against Jacksonville next week in preseason game number 2, but he's not going to be here until next week. So he'll take part in some of the joint practices with the Jaguars and then play in the game, a preseason game number 2 on August the 19th. That's that Saturday afternoon game at Ford Field. Teddy Bridgewater, of course, came into the league, got an opportunity to start and play for Minnesota, then became a really viable backup in New Orleans. He spent a couple of seasons with Dan Campbell, who was the tight ends coach down there. And if you recall years ago, Drew Brees went down with injury, and Teddy Bridgewater, forced into action, put the Saints on his back and had a little 5-game winning streak going. Campbell said today, let's see if he's still got it. Let's see if he's still got it. What's interesting is we're sitting around August 8th, and Teddy Bridgewater is still available. No team had signed him. There was talk that maybe the former Dolphin, the former Saint, the former Viking would try to compete for a starting job somewhere or look for a better opportunity maybe. But what's a better opportunity right now than here when it comes to a backup quarterback situation? Nate Sudfeld, very good spring, was good in OTAs, mandatory minicamp. He has not had a great training camp so far. I told you yesterday about over the weekend when he threw a pick 6 to Julian Okwara. So I think the Lions had seen enough of Sudfeld. And also they knew, look, Hendon Hooker is going to have a redshirt year this year. The rookie from Tennessee is not practicing. He's not recovered yet from an ACL. And now that Bridgewater is here, Hendon Hooker's, you have to figure, is we put on the injured reserve list and not play this season. He'll stand on the sidelines holding a clipboard, which then leaves now Jared Goff, Teddy Bridgewater, Nate Sudfeld, and Adrian Martinez. So This, I think, will signal Hendon Hooker going on IR, which is not anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Needs time to come back from the torn ACL. He injured it last November. Some guys takes 10 months, some 12, some 14, some 8. But Teddy Bridgewater is a good football player. He knows he's not a great player. All right. He's probably not a starter in this league anymore. In fact, he's not. All right. When you've got the situation in Tampa Bay like it is, where you've got Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, that should tell you a little something about Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not bashing Teddy, but I am here to tell you, if the Bucs thought Teddy Bridgewater was better than Mayfield or Trask, he'd be in Tampa Bay. Right? That's where he'd be. If the Patriots thought Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, neither guy's the answer, let's go get Bridgewater and try to compete, New England would have done it. Teddy took his time, won't be in camp till next week, similar to what Ndamukong Suh is doing. Ndamukong's going to wait until week 1 and then sign somewhere. But Teddy Bridgewater is here. Viable backup, can still move. The only thing that worries me is anywhere he goes, the starting quarterback gets hurt. Like Miami last year had him. Tua got hurt. Bridgewater had to play. Saints had him. Breeze got hurt. Jameis got hurt. Teddy had to play. Hopefully, Jared Goff stays healthy and we won't have to talk about Teddy Bridgewater, but is it an upgrade at the backup quarterback position? Yes, it is. What does it mean when a veteran player like this wants to come to Detroit after waiting it out? That's a good sign. That means he feels like this is an organization on the rise that is going to win. So I'm all for this move. Sudfeld worries me. Might as well bring in some more competition there. He's not going to compete with Jared Goff. Jared Goff's the guy. But I like this signing. Interesting to see what the money looks like for Teddy. 2 gloves. Number 5, Teddy Bridgewater. But hard to argue against this. Why not bring in somebody good in case something happens to Jared Goff, right? All right. Unofficial depth chart. I want to get to that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. Today's episode is brought to you by Marg's Sparkling Margaritas. Look, you guys know I love a good drink, and I've been trying to find a replacement for those typical White Claws and High Noons. And I showed you last week, and I had my box here of sparkling margaritas from Marg's. I got them Nino Salvaggio right there at Romeo Plank and the Hall Road, right there on Hall Road on the south side. And they're my go-to cocktail. They're really, really good. They're light, taste good. 5 different flavors. My favorite's the coconut margarita. Spicy one's not bad. They're all good. Margs are clean, crisp, and genuinely do taste so good. I love them the most. Kicking back on the back deck. Hot day. Can is nice and cool. It's awesome. They're the drink of the summer, no question. They're going to be great for tailgate season as well. To find out where you can shop and get some Margs, go to Sip Margs, SIPMARGS, sipmargs.com now to find that retailer near you. That's SIPMARGS.com. Must be 21 and over to enjoy. Cheers, and please drink responsibly. All right, so we got to talk about it. The unofficial Lions first depth chart came out today. Yes. Now, the Lions will tell you this means nothing. The PR staff will tell you. I remember media relations people in the past telling me, we hate doing this. We don't want to do this, but they got to do it. Putting it out there for the media. They're putting it out there for the broadcasters to prep for the game. So I was looking today at the Lions first team offense on their unofficial depth chart. Marvin Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Halapoulivanti Vaitai, Penei Sewell, Brock Wright, Josh Reynolds, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, and Jason Kabinda as the lone fullback. What's interesting is they just signed Bobby Hart. He was on here, but Teddy Bridgewater was not. As far as like backups, Graham Glasgow listed as the backup for Vaitai at right guard. Not a surprise. Ross Pierschbacher listed as the backup center to Frank Ragnow. Matt Nelson at left tackle. Owosika, Sam Laporta, the backup to Brock Wright, etc. Nothing really on the offense stands out for me. That's a surprise at all. You know, the usual suspects. Marvin Jones kind of goes ahead of Jamison Williams right now because Jamo's going to be out. Denzel Mims is a backup. Josh Reynolds ahead of Khalif Raymond, but these guys are all going to get an opportunity to play. On defense is where it's kind of interesting. Charles Harris at right defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson at left defensive end, Aleem McNeil, Isaiah Buggs as your tackles, linebackers, 2 of them, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone. So the rookie Jack Campbell not listed as a starter. By the way, Charles Harris listed as a starter. Behind him, Kaminsky. Behind him, Julian Okwara. And then you've got Romeo Okwara buried on this depth chart behind James Houston, Josh Paschal, and others. That's interesting to me. Derek Barnes ahead of Jack Campbell, not a surprise per se. Derek Barnes was kind of in that starter role for a lot of mini camp, and they've been kind of moving the players in and out. We'll see when the real thing September 7th starts. Cornerbacks, Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. So there's 3 of those. Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph as your safeties. Riley Patterson listed as the starting kicker ahead of John Parker Romo. So there you go. There is your unofficial depth chart for right now. Again, a little surprised at how far back Romeo Okwara is. I think that's interesting. Broderick Martin, second team behind Isaiah Buggs, ahead of Christian Covington and Benito Jones, who are both veterans. I don't know if that's by design. The only rookie that I see that was drafted that is like third string was Colby Sorsdal, who, by the way, I was told today had a good day against the Giants. So there's your unofficial depth chart. I hope Romeo Okwara moves up that depth chart. I want to see more of him. I want to see him bounce back. And this Derek Barnes thing is interesting. Maybe they don't want to put Jack Campbell as a rookie right there as a starter. There's not a single rookie that was drafted that is in the starting lineup. Like I said, David Montgomery is listed as a starter, Jahmyr Gibbs as the backup, and Brock Wright is listed to have Sam Laporta. None of the rookies are put with the first team. Take that for what it's worth. All right, we're back again tomorrow right here on Locked On Lions, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for checking us out on a Tuesday, day 2 of their joint practices with the Giants tomorrow. We'll recap that tomorrow as well, right here on the Locked On Lions. We'll see you.